There's two creative processes that I try to explore. One is where I don't have a set direction of the medium, the concept, whatever the final result be, and explore that process. The second would be coming up with the concept and before I even start working, and then following that through to the execution.
Trees, rocks, rivers, fields, flowers.
Really the only way to get good at anything is just by doing. And, you know, a lot of times you won't be successful, but eventually you can get the hang of it. And I think that's how you develop style and ideas, is just by, you know, like these past 5, 6 have been horrible, but every once in a while you get to a nice piece. I've designed easily, if you count the weights, easily over 300-400 typefaces. A lot of them I've disowned through the years. I'm just kind of keep my name separate from them. But yeah, I usually am working on, I'd say, about 10 different typefaces at a time. This is just some of the stuff that I do, you know, in between jobs or whatever, as I'll see something I like an old poster from a movie, or I'll have an idea for something. I'll draw a letter or two, and then I'll just throw it into a folder. Then here's a couple typefaces that I'm working on. Normally, this needs a bolder aspect to it, but normally what I do is I do the extra bold, and then the lighter weights, and then interpolate, which basically averages the different weights. I like imperfections and things like that, but I'm also very technical, so that's something that I have to really work on, is getting, you know, capturing those two. I think design and art can go hand in hand. You know, it's the age-old question, design versus art. Is design art? Is art design? And I think really it comes to the person's intent, what they're trying to make. And I don't have any problem with designers doing art or artists doing design, but there is a big taboo in the art community where the designers getting into art is suspect. You know, what are they doing? Do they know anything about it? And I think the art world is completely different. I understand the design community pretty well. I don't understand the art community. I don't know how many people do, but it's something I do for myself. I don't really care if other people call my work art or design. I'm just trying to explore visual ideas and visual language. If I'm working on a logo, I will want to do a painting. I get bored very fast, and I have the grass is greener complex, you know, where I'll always say, oh, I'm working on this project, but I always want to work on, you know, I'm like, well, now I want to paint. So, but I think that's what fuels the work that I do is, believe it or not, I was working on a website for the past 2 months, and it really gave me a lot of ideas for painting, and I don't know why or how. There's the contrast, yeah. I really love contrast. This one is for a group called Broker Dealer. They also go by a couple other names too. This one was a photographic direction, and I had hired a photographer to work on this, a guy named John Klukas that I like his work a lot. It's through the reflective mylar, and her actually, I kept on going, get closer to the ground, a little lower, lay on the ground, you know, and trying to get that. So really this is just a reflection, and this is actually flip-flopped like that. So that's actually how it would have been, but I liked it better like that. There's nothing done in Photoshop. A lot of people ask how it was done, but it was just straight up. I've always wanted to redesign a whole town. Like just take a whole town and say we have this coffee shop, we have a hardware store, we have this. And I've always wanted to just do like branding, literature, all that stuff for every company in that town, or even the town itself. So yeah, that's what I've always wanted to do. I think a graphic designer's responsibility in society is that first you have to know yourself and know what you stand for. And if you don't like an oil company or something like that, maybe don't do work for them and shy away from that type of work. That's one of the reasons why I've never worked for an agency, is I didn't want to work for clients that I didn't believe in. I think there's also a creative responsibility to communicate for the client effectively. I think if someone's going to hire you to do work, that you have to pay attention to what the client is about and what they're trying to say. And that's something that I've always tried to do in my design, is that if they say we're trying to do this, this, and this, I try and provide that visually. I think that graphic design can speak through images, but it also needs text to help it out. But I think graphic design is a large proponent of what they say. I mean, it gives a face, it gives a look to what the company is. I think graphic designers don't think about that as much as they should. I used to be more experimental. I used to like try and push the boundaries all the time. And now I see my work as more classic, kind of hopefully timeless. That's what I'm going for. So that's really what I've been trying to do. I mean, that's where my focus. But clean, I like really clean work, but yet I like really expressive work. So it's usually somewhere in between those two. However those meet, you know, I think that's really where my work is.